Hello everyone, my name is Shubhajit and you are watching WebDev Shubhajit. So today in this video we will be discussing about one of the very important concepts in JavaScript which is also asked in interviews for intermediate levels because it is a bit advanced concept in JavaScript. So yeah, it will be great if you know this before going to an interview. So what is debouncing? So debouncing comes into play when we actually need to optimize our event handlers or we need to optimize the things which are running on the web browser. If I go a little bit more deep, what I'm saying is, if I give you an example of what I have implemented today also, and I will be explaining that. So let's say we have an input element. Okay, we have an input element, and now whenever we type something inside the input element, on each new character which is typed inside the input element, we are triggering some function. Okay, it can be an API call which will take that input and will search something on the backend and will give us the result back. It can also be some computation which will again show it on the UI. Okay, so these are the things which can happen with that. Now it might be cases that the function which is called on the change or on the input change of that this input element, this might be taking a bit of time, which is actually what it is doing. It is actually blocking the browser from doing the other functionalities, or it is giving a bad UI user experience. So in those cases, we use debouncing to tackle such situations. So what does debouncing do? So in case of debouncing, we will be only calling that function whenever the user has not triggered that action for a certain amount of time. What I'm trying to say is, let's say a user, so you just take example of yourself. Whenever you actually type on the keypad, let's say you go on Google, okay, let's say you go on Google and you type, uh, my name is, can you see the suggestions coming in? Okay, so now you should see that no suggestions are updated. Okay, no suggestions are updated till this time. Can you see that? Yeah. So whenever we are typing with a very fast speed, we don't want the function to be triggered, which is a heavy function. We want that whenever we have stopped typing, after let's say 500 millisecond, 1 second, that function should be called. In that case, what we are doing, so once the user has typed the whole word, then only we are calling that heavy function only once. Okay, I hope you have understood that what is debouncing. So let's say I am calling Shubhajit. Okay, after certain amount of time only these results will be shown. For example, if I am saying might be the debounce time is very less here, 100 millisecond or 200 millisecond, that's why you are able to see such fast. But generally I will show you that how 1 second debouncing looks like. Okay, let's go to the code. So let me so this is an overview which I have given about debouncing. Now let's jump into the code. Here I have a basic HTML file, okay, with the head tags. These are the like standard boilerplate of HTML. Inside the body I have a script which is actually pointing to our JavaScript file, that is the index.js. We have a label which says enter your favorite fruits, and we have an input which actually takes the input elements. On this only we will be having an event listener which will actually catch any input change event, and it will trigger a function which will actually console log the thing which is entered inside the input element. Let me show you the JavaScript file for that. So here if you see, we have taken the input element with the help of an ID of fruits. So here if you see, we have an ID fruits here. So we took the input element reference from there, and what we have done, we have actually added an event listener. Okay, so we have added an event listener with the input event to be handled, and whenever this input event is called, so whenever a change in the input element happens, what we will do, we will actually call this debounce fn, this debounce fn function. And you know that whatever we are typing, it will be present inside the event.target.value. So let's say if I am typing HELLO, then the steps should be something like H and then HE, and after that it should be HEL, hell, and hello. So it would be something like this in these 5 steps whenever hello is typed. Okay. So this event.target.value will contains this thing. Now you should understand what is this debounce function. You can see that the actual console log function is this function print input text. It will take an input text and it will console log it. Very simple function. Okay. I should show you the difference first. So whatever event it is coming, so print input text and event dot target dot value. Okay. So this is the thing. It's running on port 5500. I will show you that in the Firefox now. So here, whenever the input is changing, it is printing the input text, that is console logging it here. Let's see what is happening. Okay. Can you see what I have shown you just now? It's happening in that way. So you can see that on every strike of the input element, on every keystroke, the function is running. And it might happen that this print input text is a heavy function. It is doing some heavy computation over the text which is passed, and we don't want that. We need to stop that. So in that case, we will use this debounce. Now what will debounce function do? So you see, this is the main debounce. Okay, so in line number 19, I got the debounce fn after calling the debounce, and inside that I am passing the print input text, which is this function, which is the main function which we need to call, and the delay. So here I have given the delay as 2000 milliseconds, that is 2 seconds. So from the point of last keystroke of the user, after 2 seconds of that only, the thing will be print input text will be called, this function will be called, and console logged, this text will be console logged. Okay, this is fine. Now what will be present inside this debounce fn? It is calling this debounce function, which is getting fx. This fx is this print input text, and this 2000 is the delay. Here I have initialized a timeout id to null, and I am returning a function. So I'm returning a function. So this debounce fn is this function, actually this function. Okay. I should say that you are expected to know about closures here, because you see that we are returning a function, and inside that we are using the timeout id which is present outside the function. So this is with the help of closures in JavaScript. So in JavaScript, even if we are returning a function to something, it also returns the surrounding context, that is the surrounding variables like timeout id, such type of things, along with the function, so that whenever it gets updated, this timeout id also gets updated and it can be used overall. Okay, so just go through closures through any documentation, you will be able to understand, and then you can come back here and continue this video. So what is happening inside this function, that is this debounce function? And you can see that we are actually calling this debounce function only whenever the input event is triggered. So this debounce fn means this function. So this function is called with that event target value, that's this text. Okay, now we are clearing the timeout with this timeout id, and then we are like initializing the timeout with a new set timeout, and inside this set timeout, this fx with the text which is passed inside the function, that is which is passed inside the debounce function, uh, comes. Okay, I know that it might be a bit difficult to understand because it's a bit advanced concept, but if you don't understand, just go through this video again and you will definitely able to understand. So let me try to explain you what it is doing, this function, what it is doing. This is the heart of debounce. So this is the main function. Okay, so you see, let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say I am typing hello. Can you see that between H and E and L, this double L and O, there is a gap which is less than 2 seconds. Definitely there is a gap which is less than 2 seconds. So in that case, this function will be called in a gap less than 2 seconds. This 2 seconds, okay? So in that case, what will happen? The timeout ID will be cleared and a new timeout will be created with the set timeout. So can I say that when I trigger H on the input element, we can do it here also. When I trigger H on the input element and then I trigger O, then L, L and O, every time it is actually not able to complete this set timeout. Before that only this function is called, and the clear timeout of the timeout ID is happening, and after that the timeout ID is initialized to a new timeout value. So this fx of text, this fx is actually the print text only. You see, debounce first parameter is this fx, okay, and we are calling this fx with a text. This print text only is this fx. I have the change, the name is just changed so that you will not get confused with what is happening. Okay, so we are actually calling the fx after 2 seconds of no keystroke. That is, there is no keystroke, because whenever the keystroke happens, the timeout ID got cleared. So we want that 2 seconds the user doesn't click anything, then only this clear timeout doesn't run, and in that case only this fx of text will be called. Okay, I hope you understand that. Now let's go to the Mozilla Firefox. Let's refresh the things, and now let's see what is happening. LLOADKDK. So I'm typing and I am not giving 2-second gap after my. Now I have given 2-second gap. Can you see now it came? I will show you again. Okay. Uh, I'm typing. I'm typing. Now I have given a gap. Now it's done. So after 2 seconds of no keystroke, then only it is calling the actual print text function. Before that before that it is not calling. So this is the core of debounce, and this is the best use case of debounce. Okay, there are a lot of use cases where you can use this. Just keep in mind, when you want that a heavy function should not be called each and every time on some event listener happening again and again and again, you just wrap this print text function inside a debounce function, and that will do the job for you with a delay. So as I have specified the delay as 2000 milliseconds, I have kept it higher, but it should be around 500-700 milliseconds based on your use. I have kept it higher to make you understand that what is happening. I hope this video is helpful, and do share and comment. If you don't able to understand something, watch it again. If you have some doubts, please put them in the comment section. I will be really happy to help. Thanks a lot, guys.